This coming Sunday is the fifth Sunday of Lent. We are moving ever closer to the celebration of Easter. The gospel passage is the story of Jesus raising Lazarus. You will recall that his good friend Lazarus has died and is now in the tomb. Jesus goes to spend time with the sisters of Lazarus, Martha and Mary. The passage is taken from John's Gospel, chapter 11, verses 1 through 45. Let's take a listen. The sisters of Lazarus sent word to Jesus, saying, "Master, the one you love is ill." When Jesus heard this, he said, "This illness is not to end in death, but is for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, so when he heard that he was ill, he remained for 2 days in the place where he was. Then after this he said to his disciples, "Let us go back to Judea." When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, but Mary sat at home. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise." Martha said, "I know he will rise in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus told her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, even if he dies, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord. I have come to believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, the one who is coming into the world." He became perturbed and deeply troubled and said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Sir, come and see." And Jesus wept. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not the one who opened the eyes of the blind man have not done something so that this man would not have died?" So Jesus, perturbed again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay across it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the dead man's sister, said to him, "Lord, by now there will be a stench. He has been dead for 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone, and Jesus raised his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you for hearing me. I know that you always hear me, but because of the crowd here I have said this, that they may believe that you sent me." And when he had said this, he cried out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, tied hand and foot with burial bands, and his face was wrapped in a cloth. So Jesus said to them, "Untie him and let him go." Now many of the Jews who came to Mary, seeing what he had done, began to believe in him. Those who witnessed these events would have been awestruck. Lazarus, who was dead and wrapped in burial cloths, is given new life from Jesus. He calls him out of the tomb, "Lazarus, come out." And the dead man comes out, tied hand and foot with burial bands, and his face was wrapped in a cloth. So Jesus said to them, "Untie him and let him go." The Pharisees and others who witnessed this realize how Jesus' popularity has grown, and now they begin to plot against him. Jesus had healed the blind man, the leper, the mute. He had restored life in so many ways. His raising of Lazarus from the dead is a most dramatic restoration, and it was infusing him with new life. One can only imagine how word of this miracle would have spread in that region. Jesus was really giving them a glimpse of what would happen after he had died and was raised from the dead. He would offer the same for us. Jesus in his suffering, dying, and rising promises the same to us. The gates of heaven have been opened. Jesus has won the victory for us, and he offers us that victory as well. At the same time, Jesus in his interaction with Martha and Mary is instructive for us. He asks Martha if she believes in the resurrection. He then tells her that he is the resurrection and the life. He asks us that same question: do you believe? Every time we recite the Creed, we say that we believe in the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Jesus enters into our time of suffering and death and then brings us new life. It is a profound and encouraging message for us as we move ever closer to the celebration of Easter. Let the gospel fill your week. Jesus is ready to shout into our tombs. He's ready to free us, give us new life. See you in church. For now, God bless.